This week, I turn compost, split some wood, and take the spark plugs out of a car. All this and more coming up in this week's episode of The Snowy Farmer. Well, it's been a couple of weeks, and I think it's time to turn this pile. You actually pull off the outside and then take out the inside, and then put the outside back in the inside, and then cover the outside with the inside. Look at that. That looks like the pile is definitely doing its work. This is why we do hot composting. Look at that. I'm gonna get that into the center of the pile, and yeah, this is so beautiful. Look at this. And I haven't even gotten to the inside. It's definitely composting. I think that it's pretty cold, so it's not very quick, but it's hot composting, so that's good. That's what we want. Yes. So I did make the pile a little taller. When I did my little bit of research on doing this, they had said to put it in a cone shape, so it's pretty much cone shape. And we'll check back with it in a couple of weeks and see how it's doing. So it does not seem to be composting as fast as they said it would. I'm guessing that's because it's really cold. We'll check back with it in a couple of weeks and see how it's doing. If it's not going as faster, we might add some leaves to it to try to get the carbon nitrogen ratio a little better. So, you know what didn't work though? You might remember in the compost video I was talking about putting mulch down in here. I put a lot of mulch down right there, and it pretty much failed. So if you guys have any ideas on what to do about a really muddy field, then leave in the comment section below. The snow has arrived! Yeah! There goes the snowplow. So we actually don't have a wood burning. Oh, check it out, it's a cardinal. Oh, it's another one. So we actually don't have a wood burning stove. But I like splitting wood because it's a great activity, especially when you're stuck indoors a lot, just doing schoolwork. I like to split wood as a recreational activity. This is where a real manliness comes from. it's this line right here that's just all cracked right open. And the clamp that I think is supposed to be holding it is way over there. So that's weird. So I put this all over cardboard to see where my leaks were. And so far we have a little tiny leak here, which looks like it was leaking some oil. And I saw a little bit of antifreeze earlier and more oil. Apparently my dad's been refilling the power steering oil quite frequently lately. So apparently the power steering is leaking somewhere. But that's not this hose. So this is a 1996 Toyota Camry. It's been through a lot. And then I was checking the oil, and apparently there's like hardly any oil in it. So time to change the oil. And the question is whether or not we have an oil leak, because the bottom of the oil pan is absolutely soaked. So a few days ago, the car overheated and the radiator was cracked, and we realized when we got home after putting water in it that apparently it had frozen and the radiator cracked, and it spewed stuff all over the garage floor, antifreeze all over the place. So we got the radiator somewhat fixed, and it's holding coolant again. Whether or not it's leaking still, I don't know. Maybe it's just leftovers or something. Now we're trying to figure out what else is wrong with it. Back at it again. So we went to the auto parts store to go get a replacement hose for the split hose, and turns out we couldn't get that exact size. So we got something a little bigger, and we clamped it down with screw clamps. And then I pulled apart the air intake filter. So this is what it looks like, guys, when your car sat for like 3 years and it's running really, really rough. This was like full of mouse goodness. We got that mostly out of there. We're going to remove the bottom and take it out and clean it out completely. We're going to try and clean out the rest of the intake. We also got some power steering fluid that has a leak stopper in it. We also got engine treatment to try and take care of what I think is engine sludge. I'm really wondering, and maybe one of you would know, what this thing is down here. So there's like the intake brings in air right there, and then there's another thing that goes down below into like another compartment. Either that's another intake or it's some sort of other compartment that's supposed to trap stuff. I don't know. I don't know what it is. So if anyone knows what that is, leave in the comment section. I'd like to know. And I think we're gonna get this all put back together and start working on fluids. Okay, so now we have all sorts of stuff to do this thing. So we're gonna change the oil, we're gonna do an engine treatment, then we're going to put in a stop leak thing, and we're gonna change the spark plugs, and we're gonna do the spark plug wires and the distributor cap. All sorts of exciting stuff. So here goes. Well, here I am in the middle of replacing the spark plugs. As it turns out, this car is a 96, and it seems that the original spark plugs were still in it. There's what the old one looked like. The tip is completely burnt off. Well, there we go. Spark plugs, spark plug wires, all replaced. I sprayed some throttle body cleaner into the air intake. Technically you're supposed to put that in, I guess, when the engine's running. So we'll try and start it and just kind of rev it a bit to get that all through there. And then Now I'm going to take it down off the risers and fill it up with oil. That's the next step. All right, guys, here comes the moment of truth. All right, let's take her for a test drive. Let's see what happens. The check engine light came back on. Apparently I had reset it when I unplugged the battery, so it came back on. So we replaced the EGR valve because that was the code that was coming up. So hopefully that fixes the problem.